On this edition of Inside the Newsroom, I'll be joined by AFP editor and AFP business president Chris Graham to talk about Augusta Free Press' upcoming trip to New York for the Barclays Center Classic in Brooklyn. We'll also talk about a new magazine that Augusta Free Press is bringing to the region, and we'll highlight two clients. Marietta McCarty, who's participating in a Parenting Now seminar available nationwide online that starts today, Monday, November 10th. And we'll highlight Fishburne Military School, who in addition to a weekend of very busy activities, we've been working with to design a new website. Welcome, Chris Graham.
Boy, a busy November for Augusta Free Press, Crystal. It's amazing that we can keep on top of all these things, it seems like.
No question. On this edition of Inside the Newsroom, we're going to go a little bit inside AFP business, you might say, the business arm of AugustaFreePress.com. And one of the trips that we have upcoming, and this is more for your AugustaFreePress.com website, is you've always covered University of Virginia in a very big way. And this time, you're taking it on the road to Brooklyn for a new tournament, I guess, that UVA is participating in, the men's basketball team, the Barclays Center Classic.
Yeah, new for UVA, the third year of the Barclays Center Classic in Brooklyn. And, of course, we traveled up earlier this year, last basketball season, back in March, as the UVA basketball team participated in the NCAA tournament. The Sweet 16 round was in the Madison Square Garden, Midtown Manhattan. Our first trip to New York. So from a personal standpoint, a lot of fun for us there. But so when UVA announces its basketball schedule back a couple months ago, actually back in August, and this opportunity came up to travel with the team to Brooklyn, we jumped on it because it's over Thanksgiving weekend. So we're going to make a little bit of a personal trip of it as well and be able to take in some of the sights and sounds I think we have planned. In addition to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, we're going to go see some comedy with Gilbert Gottfried. We're looking at some Broadway plays, perhaps a hockey game to throw in the mix. And oh yeah, by the way, a couple basketball games to watch. UVA playing in that tournament with Sal in the first round, and then on Friday night after Thanksgiving, and then Saturday night they'll play likely the winner of the Vanderbilt versus Rutgers game. And a chance for us to see not only Brooklyn. We didn't get to go to Brooklyn last time. We stayed in Midtown Manhattan on the trip to Madison Square Garden, so a chance to see Brooklyn for the first time, but also this Barclays Center, which is a relatively new arena, I think only a couple of years old, where the Brooklyn Nets play NBA basketball. It's $1 billion-plus arena, brand new. I hear so many good things about it, so chance to see something new.
You talked to the University of Virginia, many members of the men's basketball team during Media Day recently, and I know several of them weighed in on the Barclays Center Classic. So a couple of questions related to that. One is, what does a tournament like this really mean to the University of men's basketball team? Why do they even do this and not just go home and enjoy Thanksgiving with their family? And then secondly, are the players looking forward to this tournament?
Well, I'll answer the second question first. Playing in New York, Brooklyn, playing in the Big Apple and the media mecca that is New York City is a big opportunity. In basketball, really, the center of the basketball universe is New York City. And so there's a lot of excitement there. Some of the players are from that area. I know Mike Tobey, the starting center for the team, is from just outside of New York City, about an hour north in a small town. But New York he'll have a lot of family and friends there. And then, when you talk to the players up and down that roster, a lot of these guys are NBA prospects, and for them a chance to play in an NBA arena is really interesting. You play a lot of college arenas, and there's nothing wrong with playing in college arenas, certainly. But when they got to play in Madison Square Garden this past season, and back in March in the Sweet 16, and now playing in the Barclays Center, they'll have played in both of the NBA arenas in the New York metropolitan area. And so from the personal standpoint, a lot of fun for the guys. Then from a basketball standpoint, for Coach Tony Bennett and why he schedules this tournament, schedules UVA's participation in a tournament like this, when you get to March, you play in a tournament environment. Of course, the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, you play on a Thursday or a Friday, and then on a Saturday or a Sunday. You play a couple games back-to-back, not a lot of opportunity to scout the second team especially. This is a Friday-Saturday thing, so back-to-back nights. That's different a little bit, but also, the same aspect of you're going to play, in Virginia's case, they're going to play LaSalle on Friday night, and they're going to play either Rutgers or Vanderbilt on Saturday night. You don't have a lot of time to turn around, a lot of time to prepare. You just kind of you do a quick game plan. You get out there and you play basketball. And they're trying to simulate that environment that when March comes around, and ACC tournament's even different now. This is more like a preparation for your ACC tournament. If you're in the ACC tournament, you play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They moved it up a day this year for the championship to be on a Saturday. You play back-to-back days potentially if you went all the way through. So it's a chance to simulate March. You get a feel as a team for how you'll respond in those situations, because a lot in the regular season you'll play, say, a Saturday and a Tuesday, and then the next Saturday or Sunday, and there's a lot of days in between. But in tournament situations, there's not. So a chance for Coach Bennett to test his team in that kind of environment.
Well, and one of the things that AugustaFreePress.com is really, truly known for is its coverage of UVA sports. I mean, you do so much throughout the year to cover both basketball, football, baseball, and all the other sports too. Lacrosse, soccer, cross country, a little bit of everything makes its way to AugustaFreePress.com. So what does this mean for Augusta Free Press to be going and covering this? I'm sure it means huge spikes in traffic, because I'm guessing a lot of the media members are going to head to Blacksburg for the football game that weekend.
Yeah, that is the competing element that weekend. The UVA Virginia Tech football game, the season finale for those two teams, probably the actual last game for the two teams. I don't know that either team is going to play in a bowl game this year. Is that same Friday that the Barclays Center Classic starts up in New York, Friday night. And so we don't know what time the UVA Virginia Tech football game will be on Friday, but I just imagine that if the media entities that cover UVA sports are of course going to be focused on football. It's the last game of the season, potentially the last game of the Mike London era at UVA. So we may be up there alone as far as UVA media, maybe a couple of stringers up there with us, but our standpoint is on this that UVA basketball, obviously a top 10 team in the preseason, defending ACC regular season, defending ACC tournament champs. That from a UVA fans perspective, there's going to be a lot of attention on this team this year, and so for us to be able to bring inside knowledge of how this tournament goes for UVA basketball in this great environment, again, the Barclays Center, Brooklyn, over the holiday weekend, it'll be kind of neat for us to bring that. But yeah, I think we probably will be, if not alone, close to being alone up there from Virginia media standpoint.
Right. We'll send our stringer to the football game. One of the teams has to win. Virginia and Virginia Tech both haven't done a bang-up job this year. And, of course, I'm an alum of Virginia Tech, you of Virginia. So you would think that we would be there, but definitely going to be a very busy weekend when it comes to UVA. And I'm sure that means a lot of traffic on AugustaFreePress.com. You've had some similar experiences with the men's basketball run to New York last year and that kind of thing. And I know those were some of the highest traffic days we've ever had on Augusta Free Press.
Actually, even during the baseball season, baseball is supposedly not a revenue sport at the college level, but UVA baseball the last several years has been one of the best programs in the country. In fact, the winningest program in the country the last 6 seasons, over the course of the last 6 seasons. 3 trips to the College World Series in that stretch of time. 2 innings away from a championship last year, and we covered all the way through. Actually, from a blog standpoint, all the way through the last out of the College World Series, and we were on hand for the regionals and super regionals. And UVA baseball got a lot of traffic too. But yeah, that trip through the ACC tournament, the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament in Raleigh, and then the Sweet 16 in New York, definitely big traffic. Now, I will mention we will have a reporter at the UVA Virginia Tech game, Scott German, who accompanies me to most sporting events that we cover for UVA sports for Augusta Free Press. We will have him down in Blacksburg on our behalf. So we will have somebody in Lane Stadium. And as you mentioned, somebody has to win that game. College football's rules as of maybe 10, 12 years ago. I'm not sure when the overtime rules went into effect. You used to be able to tie. That would probably be appropriate for these two teams. They kind of deserve to go out without anybody winning that game. But somebody will have to win that game, and we will have somebody there. But our attention will be up in New York.
Well, except I imagine we'll find somewhere to watch that football game, and my guess is that you'll join the live blog with Scott during that game. I know it makes you giddy almost to have people commenting on Augusta Free Press, whether it's basketball, whether it's football. You love the interaction with people on Augusta Free Press.
Oh, yeah. We had a good time the other night during the UVA Florida State game. We were here at the home office in Virginia. blogging during that game, but had over 150 comments or so on the live blog during that game, and lots of interactions on Twitter and Facebook as well. So, that said, yeah, we will definitely be joining the blog. We're going to see if we can work with some folks at UVA, perhaps though. Perhaps, I know UVA basketball will be working that day to get ready for that game Friday night. They play at 9:30 Friday night. But perhaps maybe if they're going to watch, if the game is earlier in the day, especially the football game is earlier in the day, maybe, they'll have some sort of a viewing situation there, and who knows? We'll just see if we can maybe watch the football game, at least part of the football game with the basketball team. We're going to see if we can work that out. And if not, we'll be in New York City somewhere in a bar blogging from a different perspective maybe than most of the fans who will be watching. So either way, it's going to be fun for us and hopefully fun for our readers as well.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we are still looking for a few major sponsors for our coverage to the Barclays Center Classic, so you can be a part of it. What a great time to get your message out to folks as well, with it being Black Friday. You've got the Virginia Tech football game. And then on top of all that, we're going to be at the Barclays Center Classic covering the UVA men's basketball team. I almost can't imagine a better package that we could put together for advertisers who might be interested in reaching people during this critical buying time.
Which is pretty much every advertiser. This is they call it Black Friday for a reason. It's because it's the time of year that retailers in particular move from being in the red to going into the black financially and thus profitability. And so from the standpoint of getting eyeballs to message, here in Virginia, UVA Virginia Tech football and then UVA basketball are your two biggest drivers of traffic. And I know from our perspective, we run the numbers on Google quite often. And, you wouldn't think of it necessarily right off, but AugustaFreePress.com is your number one source on the internet among all Virginia news entities for UVA football, UVA basketball. The only people that beat us on a regular basis are like ESPN.com, those kind of websites. So,
well, and VirginiaSports.com, maybe.
VirginiaSports.com, but yeah, I love the folks over to Sabre. We even actually outpaced them in terms of our Google rank on that. So it's a great place to be if you're trying to get your message out in front of lots and lots of eyeballs.
Right, and that's the point too. Regardless of whether you're a sports fan or you have a sports business or not, it's going to be one of the best traffic times on Augusta Free Press. So regardless, you should be getting your message out to this huge group of people.
Yeah, that's right. And we know that that Friday after Thanksgiving, of course, people will be shopping. But, this package that we're putting together as far as sponsorships goes, gets started before that and gives you the opportunity to reach people ahead of time. We'll let people know, of course, that you're sponsoring our coverage. But then on that Black Friday itself and then thereafter, because Black Friday is really just the start of that profitability march that retailers make towards the Christmas shopping season. So as Black Friday goes on and people are blogging with us during the day for the football game, at night during the basketball game, of course, Saturday night also during the second basketball game, they will be seeing your message prominently on the front page, on the inside pages of our website. So opportunity certainly for you to get your message out to people, and like Crystal said, whether or not you're a sports fan or not, there's going to be a lot of traffic on our website that weekend.
So another thing, just shifting gears a little bit, till January, again, something that kind of blends in with your role on AugustaFreePress.com, is we are bringing back a full-color print magazine coming in January, starting bi-monthly in 2015. And I know I'm personally very, very excited about that. Many, many years ago, we published a magazine called The New Dominion, and I say many, many years ago. It wasn't 20 years. It was, 5 years ago?
We started in like 07 or 08, and I think we went through 2012. So, yeah, it seems like 100 years ago.
It seems like a long time ago. Yeah, and you know that when you asked me once, what's your dream? What are you looking for? And I said, I would love to design a full-color magazine. We brought that to light. The economy crashed. No one was advertising in print at the time, and so we discontinued The New Dominion. And now we're bringing back another magazine, but instead of branding it again as that same name that we had before, we're keeping it under what people know us for. People know Augusta Free Press. It's been around since 2002, and we're bringing back this magazine underneath that Augusta Free Press, the magazine title, coming in 2015. If you could talk a little bit about kind of what you see as the vision for that magazine for next year.
Well, first off, to continue the hype of the magazine, the New Dominion magazine, the predecessor, was an award-winning magazine. When I say award-winning, I'm talking Virginia Press Association award-winning. And we competed in a very tough category in the Virginia Press Association Awards annually, and we won. I know we were second place in general makeup, which was the overall appearance and readability and everything else of a magazine, in a category with entities that included The Hook, which is now sadly deceased. That great Charlottesville publication, but we were in a category with The Hook. Style Weekly is another great category.
Seville, Richmond Magazine.
Oh gosh, all these
wonderful specialty magazines.
Well, and especially whatever you want to say. To me, just those magazines and publications I love seeing. They're awesome publications. With staffs that are just tremendous. You look at their masthead and you see these people listed on the staff sheet. And the New Dominion magazine was me, you, and photographer Mark Miller.
And we won a whole wide array of awards. I mean, when you said general makeup, which was obviously a very big one, you won writing awards. We won design awards, front page design awards, headline writing awards. I mean, and a little bit of everything that makes up a publication. We were right there among what I consider the best in the state. And it was so hard for me personally to let that go. But financially, it was a decision that we had to make, So I'm excited. We've got a number of advertisers already on board for next year, some of them already signing up for all 6 issues. So I think in a big way, there's a lot of people behind this push to bring back a full-color magazine available for free throughout the region.
That's correct. That's right. And what this magazine will feature is a lot of the great content you see on AugustaFreePress.com, the website already, in a sense of feature stories, news analysis pieces, stories about nonprofits and organizations that are doing some good things in the community, upcoming events that we can help highlight. And then since our New Dominion magazine went into the sunset a few years ago, we have just developed a great network of contacts, people we work with on a regular basis that will also be highlighted more and more in this magazine on a regular basis too. And so, and of course, as you mentioned, sports. I mean, we have great contacts and context we can provide to UVA and Virginia Tech and JMU sports. So we'll share some of this in the magazine as well. But it's an opportunity for people who maybe don't go to the website every day to learn more about what we do. Maybe that'll bring them back to the website on a regular basis. And also just it's something that is still tangible. There's still a lot of us out there who want to have something in your hand that you can pick up, see. Maybe you'll pick it up at a rest area or a hotel or maybe a restaurant. If you're out and about and you want to flip through and then save it for later on. From an advertiser perspective, those kind of things are more permanent as well, and you get a chance to get more exposure. And so it's an opportunity to see what we do in a different format. You've seen us online, now a chance to see us in print again. And we've also just recently over the past weekend revamped our AugustaFreePress.com website to have more of a magazine type feel with front pages for our different sections: news and politics and sports and UVA sports, arts and culture. And so we're trying to kind of bring that feel back of what you're used to in terms of how information is presented.
I hear the argument every day that print is dying. And in some ways, I very much agree. The daily newspaper cycle, some are adapting and doing well with the changing times. Some people are throwing their websites behind paywalls, making it impossible for people to access their content for free. There's a lot happening in that. And so some people do question, why are you bringing a print magazine, back when right now online's where it's at, and that's where you guys do such a good job. And I agree with that, but I also remember we've done so much research over the years that has to do with who reads, like a print magazine, or even something like Seville, those free distribution publications that are available in your community. And they are the hearts of communities. They are the people who are engaged, the people typically who have a little bit of a higher education. This isn't, something selling, schlocking stuff, or a free coupon kind of thing that you get in the mail. This is a full color quality publication with articles that you may see something on AugustaFreePress.com similar, but that aren't necessarily getting out there otherwise.
Well, and what I'd say to the whole media landscape and its changes, the daily newspaper is anachronistic, to say the least. I can get my information minute by minute on the internet. So why do I want to wait till tomorrow morning for that same information? Now, from a magazine perspective, what's different about any magazine, and I know as we're planning our magazine, and as we did our magazine a few years ago, you don't give people in the magazine what they get on a daily, minute-by-minute basis. You give people different things. You give them more thoughtful, more analytical pieces, more in-depth pieces that you kind of want to sit down and read, as opposed to most of the information you get on the internet is of a quick hit kind of nature. You get the facts, and that you get in, you get out. But from the perspective of what you do well in a magazine, is again, you give that depth that's not there necessarily online, because you don't sit on your phone or your tablet or even on your desktop and read a 2,000 word piece during the day on the internet. But you will in a magazine. People do that. We've seen the studies. I know I do that personally.
We do that. We get Vanity Fair, The New Yorker, Sports Illustrated, for the very same reason. Because whether you're reading it on your iPad or whether you're reading it on, in print, you really do have to sit down to digest that. It's not something that you're going to take in at the computer. So,
and from the perspective of an advertiser, then the magazine will sit around longer, certainly, than a newspaper will. Newspaper, as soon as you're done with it that day, there's another one coming out tomorrow. Why would you keep that around? So
goes in the trash can. No question.
And you pay a lot of money for those ads to go end up in the trash can. Whereas a magazine tends to sit around for a lot longer. I mean, I know looking down in our own living room, we have the most recent Fortune, the most recent Vanity Fair, the most recent Sports Illustrated, all sitting down there. Almost like we have a doctor's office or something like that down there.
Sort of. We keep the most recent edition there to enjoy, and that's very much what Augusta Free Press, the magazine, will be, is a coffee table book, something that you talk about with people who come to your home, that kind of thing. And definitely going to be distributed as wide as possible initially, a similar distribution to what we had for the New Dominion magazine, kind of Charlottesville to Harrisonburg to Lexington and points in between. So it's a great resource for all those communities to really draw the tourist in your hometown, so to speak, to really draw from other communities for events, to learn a little bit more about things that are going on. And it's also going to be a really great way for us to highlight some of the work that we're doing with our clients.
Oh yeah, and I mentioned that earlier. We have developed this network of these great clients that we work with, and these just great people we work with. That you mentioned earlier. Of course, our UVA sports coverage, but Fishburne Military School, I think we've talked about. The different authors we work with, Andy Kaufman over at University of Virginia, Marietta McCarty over in Charlottesville. Just a few people and entities we work with, but there's so many. The Waynesboro YMCA, the Wayne Theater Alliance. That we're going to make sure that folks know the good things they're doing. We work with them, and of course there's a relationship there, but we work with them because we like them, and we believe in what they do, and so we want to make sure that we share the good news of folks going on in the community in addition to those news analysis pieces and other pieces as well.
For more information on Augusta Free Press, the magazine, particularly if you have any interest in advertising in our upcoming issues, you can go to augustafreepress.com, and in the navigation bar, you'll see a link for magazine. You can click on that and get more information. So we're speaking about how much we love our jobs and how awesome it is that we get to work with so many clients who are doing really remarkable things. And, it's not just local clients that we work with. We have nationwide clients. But, I'm always just amazed at what some of our clients are doing, And so one of our clients, Marietta McCarty, who we've mentioned on this podcast a couple of times before, she's an author and philosopher based in Charlottesville. She used to teach at Piedmont, Virginia Community College. She's written 3 books on philosophy, bestsellers, multiple award-winning. Heck, she was named Newsmaker 2014 this year. So she's a remarkable woman, even outside of the achievements that she's done. But she's actually participating in something that starts today, which is different. It's pretty darn cool. For a woman in her 70s, she has got it down. She's on Facebook, she's on Twitter, and she just did her first Skype interview as part of it's kind of like a national symposium. A company called, and I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Entheos. They just bring together subjects of various things, and they put together these conferences that are available for free for anybody who wants to listen. And the particular one that she was asked to participate in via Skype, which she was just thrilled to do, was with Carrie Conti, who's known nationwide for parenting issues and things of that nature. And she's going to participate in that. It's a series of 12 experts talking on different subject matter related to parenting. And it doesn't just appeal to parents, it really appeals to educators too. But one of the things that she's doing is today at 3 p.m., and this is being recorded on Monday, November 10th, her interview with Carrie Conti is going to be available online for people to listen to watch, for only for 24 hours for free, though. So that's the big thing. You know what I mean? You participate in this, you get your people to watch it in the first 24 hours, and then after that it's still available, but it's in a paid format. But all week long they're unveiling different experts. So these 11 other experts will kind of hit at different times throughout the week, and you can watch their videos for 24 hours too. So what a neat little way to bring conversation about another subject online.
Yeah, and so if you're listening to this Tuesday, November 11th, 3 p.m. or after, you're going to have to pay for the privilege. But yeah, it is neat, and the idea of getting different folks exposure in this realm. I know we've worked with Marietta for over a year now, and and we've been to several of her seminars that she's led. She really engages people in an interesting way and gets people thinking. It's not like she necessarily answers the questions. That's not what a philosopher is supposed to do. She's not supposed to pose a question and then answer it for you. She's supposed to really just delve in there and make you think a little bit differently, or at least just think in general. And so, I look forward to this as well, just to see what the interview has to say.
I'm not a parent, but I signed up, and so I'll be able to view the video and some of these others in the series online as well. Starting today, I'm really fascinated by this subject. More than 1,000 people have already registered for this conference of, basically 12 videos. So it's kind of a fascinating thing, and it's covering pretty much from babyhood to teenhood. And like I said, there's really some natural tie-ins there to educators as well. So it appeals to people even if you don't have children. In different ways. But you can get to that. I should tell people how to do that. You can get to the conference. You can go ahead and pre-register anytime. But basically, if you want to view Marietta McCarty's video, that is going to start today, Monday, November 10th at 3 p.m. You can register online for free. It's at Entheos, and I'm going to spell that because that's not an easy one. ENTHEOS.com. It's /parenting-now/Marietta/McCarty. That's not easy to get in a podcast, but if you go online to AugustaFreePress.com, you can also find that link.
That's right. We'll help you find that link and get there as well. And so we've got that going on with the client Marietta McCarty. I've got some work to do today with Fishburne Military School. I think you mentioned earlier we're talking about Fishburne Military School. This past weekend, a nice ceremony at halftime of a post-grad basketball game. And we work closely with Fishburne on lots of things. Post-grad basketball team, one of the things that I do a lot of work with in the fall and winter. And the post-grad basketball team played the JV team from the U.S. Naval Academy. And that might sound, the JV team at the Naval Academy, it's a college, obviously, the Naval Academy, Navy, when you watch them play sports, football and basketball. These guys were pretty talented guys. They actually beat us on the court. Our Fishburne's first loss of the season, 63-61. But at halftime of that game, Fishburne honored 4 of its graduates who went on to be cadets at the U.S. Naval Academy, and a couple of current cadets, and then one gentleman, class of 1953, Charles Beale. I got to interview Charles. I did some video footage of the ceremony. We'll have some of that coming up later on. And of course, not only that work that we do for them, we're rebuilding their fishburne.org website, which should launch in February. A big project we've been working on for months with Fishburne.
Well, for years we've been talking about this. I mean, I think what happens is a lot of times companies, organizations, nonprofits, if you're in a certain field, there's like one person who designs the website or one company that designs the website. And that's what Fishburne's been dealing with. It's not entirely that they're unhappy with that. It's just that every other military school looks exactly the same, their website. So, Fishburne engaged us in a number of things, related to promotions and marketing and video work and audio work. And, we're there doing a little bit of
content development,
no question. We've helped them with their magazine. It's been a very hands-on thing with Fishburne Military School right around the corner from us in walking distance here in Waynesboro. And so this effort that you're undergoing right now to redesign an entire website with hundreds of pages built within this thing has been quite an endeavor for you and Chris Richmond, who works with them in marketing.
Yeah, it is. And Fishburne Military School is known worldwide, and I say worldwide. They have students come in regularly. I know we have a large international contingent at Fishburne. It is not just a local Waynesboro military school. It is known across the world. It's got distinguished alums, including Vince McMahon, the head of WWE.
I somehow knew you were going to mention something to do with wrestling when we started talking about Fishburne.
Well, hey, if you're listening to this podcast at this stage and you're thinking about the distinguished alums that are out there, whether or not he's a wrestling guy, he's also a big business guy.
No question.
And so Vince McMahon is one of the alums at Fishburne, but a lot of distinguished alums, a lot of over the years, gentlemen who have gone on to service at high levels of the U.S. military, success in the business world. I've interviewed for the Fishburne Alumni Magazine. I've interviewed federal judges who are Fishburne alums and people involved in high levels of the entertainment business. So it is interesting the reach that this school has. And so for us at Augusta Free Press to be rebuilding the website for that institution is quite a coup. And
it's an honor, no question. When is that project looking to go online?
I think around February 15th. It may be around that time. So that's coming up, not too far off, a couple months away from that standpoint. But we work with them on a regular basis. I'm working today with them. We've got and of course from the post-grad basketball perspective, we run the PG's website, fishburnepgbasketball.org, and we keep up with that nationally recognized program. They've been in the last 2 national prep championship tournaments, lost each year to the eventual national champion in postgraduate basketball. The recruits for that team, the players on that team are recruits for schools like, they've sent alums to the University of Virginia, University of South Carolina. I know most recently Kansas State University has one of our players. We have kids off this year's team going to University of Washington, Coastal Carolina University. One player has offers from Louisville, among other Louisville and Arizona State, among other places. So this is not high school basketball. This is pretty high level college recruiting kind of basketball. So for me as a basketball junkie, we started off this segment talking about how we're going to New York to watch UVA basketball play in the Barclays Center Classic. For me to be able to walk up the street and watch this basketball in person and be the point man for the news getting out about it, it's pretty cool for me.
Not to mention the fact that the community, there's a few people that we see there from time to time from the community at large at these Fishburne PG basketball games. But there's some really neat things that happen there that people don't realize, like college coaches coming from all over the country, basically to come and watch some of these people in person and, and interact with them and potentially recruit some of them. I was sitting next to former Virginia Tech, men's basketball coach James Johnson at a game for, about 5 or 10 minutes. And we were hearing him chatting and everything. And at the time, I didn't even realize who he was. And
you were literally, when you say,
we were looking it up on our phones to see, because I thought he was an assistant. He seemed young, I thought he was an assistant, but I wanted to be able to strike up a conversation. And no, I'm not sitting next to an assistant. I'm sitting next to the head basketball coach at Virginia Tech. And when you say next to,
I mean literally butt to butt.
No question. And later that very same weekend, was it Roy Williams that was in town?
Coach Roy Williams, Bruce Weber from Kansas State. I remember I was telling Coach Ed Huckabee, the coach at Fishburne Military School, about this. There was a game a couple years ago when Coach Tony Bennett of the UVA basketball program was recruiting a player on the Fishburne team. during the same night as the Waynesboro Christmas Parade. So everybody in town is at the Christmas Parade. We're literally up the hill from the Christmas Parade. There's nobody in the gym. It's me and Tony Bennett watching basketball. There's like 5 people in the gym, and me and Tony Bennett are watching basketball, sitting there side by side. So yeah, it's an interesting environment. If you're listening, you live in the Waynesboro, Charlottesville area. You want to go see some good basketball. You maybe want to catch a gander at one of these coaches that I say comes to the games on a regular basis. Come on over. I'll be your tour guide.
Yeah, no question. There are exciting things happening at Fishburne Military School. And like I said, being right around the corner from them and seeing everything is pretty remarkable. So I want to wrap up this edition. I'm sure anybody who's listening to this can tell how excited we are personally about the clients that we get to work with, some of the upcoming trips and projects that we have coming up with Augusta Free Press. I highly encourage you to go online to AugustaFreePress.com to read more about all of these. And you can also check out our business website at AFPBusiness.com. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Inside the Newsroom, our business side of Inside the Newsroom. Thanks for joining us.